Mr. Vice Marshal of the lower house of Polish Parliament, thank you for accepting our invitation. How do you assess the current political landscape in Poland with Prime Minister Donald Tusk and his government?
We are in the opposition, so we are critical towards the government. We are a National Conservative Freedom Party, and the government is center-left, very much pro-EU and politically correct, so we oppose on almost every issue. We have so many issues that we can discuss or criticize that we are busy every day. So we are, I believe, we are the strongest opposition to this government. No matter which field you will choose, we present different approach than the government.
Leaders of the Law and Justice Party, especially those who have been in power for the past 8 years, claim that the current government has staged a witch hunt against them. Do you agree on that?
No, I believe that their government, the previous government, Law and Justice government, was corrupted, and they had many scandals. Now we experience information, media publish new information about some financial scandals in this previous government, and I believe that state institutions like prosecutor's office should do their job and accuse people who were in charge of public money. And I believe that there were so many manipulations and so many scandals that every politician from previous government should be, their job should be analyzed. If everything was okay, they should not be afraid, but it was not okay, and we know it very well.
How do you think that the restoration of the rule of the law for the new government is going?
I believe that the main problem of Polish politics and Polish state is not rule of law. Of course, we need better judiciary and better prosecutor's office, but how it was defined by European Union, this debate about rule of law, it was debate between previous government and European Union. I believe that it was rather about so-called liberal values and not about true level of Polish judiciary. So I believe that nothing has changed to be better. In fact, in some way, it's even worse because the new government is they introduce their agenda not always having the legal base. Sometimes they have they do not propose the bill in parliament, but they act without legal legal base for their acts. So we understand that this rule of law debate was not about rules, it was about political parties and ideologies. And these political parties that are in government now, like Civic Platform and the left, they are in progressive political European parties, so they have supports from Brussels, from American embassy and other diplomatic, some Western diplomats, and they are not criticized by their controversial actions. They are rather judged by the ideology that they try to develop in Poland, and this is clear that it's political correctness, Eurocentralism, and so on.
What are the main challenges facing the conservative nationalist movement in Poland today, in your opinion?
I believe that we need to extend our voting base. This is the most important challenge. Of course, we need to win with Law and Justice. In my opinion, they are not a truly right-wing movement. They are rather, let's say, centrist coalition of different politicians who were quite cynical about true conservative and patriotic and sovereignist agenda. And they introduced in Poland an open border policy, not for illegal immigration, but for mass legal uncontrolled immigration. They raised numbers to biggest numbers ever when you take statistics of legal immigration to Poland. Also from countries that we have nothing in common on the cultural level. We believe that we should go with this message that they introduced, being so-called right-wing party. They introduced steps towards multiculturalism in Poland. They introduced also new regulations centralizing EU, like accepting Fit for 55, European Green Deal, European taxes, European debt, COVID policies, and so on. We are against all of that. Our main challenge is to go with this message to normal right-wing patriotic voters and to encourage them to vote for us, not for the fake right-wing political parties.
What about the left? Aren't they a competitor to you?
They are the strongest enemy of our values, of traditional values, but there is not much to do because they have their position in government. We are just after elections. Now they are testing their agenda and their ideological ideas. What we should do is criticizing the results, showing to the society who they are. Some people see that they are stupid and some people are naive towards their rhetoric, and they believe that maybe it's something more moral to be so-called left. What we should do is strengthen our movement, show the leadership to the society. And this is not, of course, we should oppose all left-wing and progressive ideas. It's not only about left, it's also about so-called centrists who are progressive and political correct. The main goal is to establish new right-wing leadership for the society and for the conservative part of the society. After 8 years of law and justice government, for a big part of our society, right-wing political parties are finished. They were this was not good government, or on many levels, and people are tired of this right-wing movement. So before we will fight left, we should clean our room, and our room is right-wing part of the scene of political scene. So we have to get rid of previous former Prime Minister Morawiecki, previous leader of so-called right-wing government Jarosław Kaczyński, previous Minister of Justice Zbigniew Ziobro. They were bad guys. They were their government was bad on many levels, and we should show why, and we should explain this to the people, and we have to show the better quality of politics. And this is what we try to do in this political campaign to European Parliament. We try to show to the people that they could trust us because we were right on almost every issue.
With the European elections approaching, how do you see the EU becoming increasingly supranational, and what is your solution to stop this development?
We are against this process since the beginning, so since the debate about joining EU. So it's more than 20 years that we oppose all these ideas of deepening European integration. The only field that we are not against is cultural cooperation, voluntary cultural cooperation. voluntary trade cooperation. We believe that free trade in Europe can be beneficial for everybody and economic cooperation, but political cooperation should be voluntary. Strategic cooperation, because of different national interests, should be optional. Like in NATO, we believe that we don't need any kind of political or ideological centralism in Europe, because the essence of Europe is that we are different. We have different countries, different nations, different cultures, different languages, and it's okay. We should stay like that, not build European melting pot in which everybody will be the same. It's evil. So we were against Lisbon Treaty. We were strongly against all this climate policy. We were against Recovery Fund and Next Generation EU program. We are strongly against European Green Deal. We are against building European financial system like Euro and like European debt, European taxes. We don't need anything like that.
What are your views on the current immigration policies in Poland, especially regarding migrants attacking the Polish border with Belarus?
Of course, we should secure our border. We supported previous government in building the wall on the border with Belarus. We support Polish army and Polish border service. We fight with political correctness and some open borders ideas by some left-wing NGOs. We oppose also the Asylum and Migration Pact in European Union, and we believe that Polish soldiers and Polish servicemen in border guard should use, if it is necessary, they should have permission to use weapons. Yes, we don't want war, we don't want hot conflict, we don't want two armies shooting one to another on Polish border with Belarus. We are a peaceful nation, and we believe that it is possible. We should use peaceful and civic instruments and civic tools to manage this conflict. But if it will be impossible, of course, we should use, as a last step, weapons. For now, it looks like it is possible not to use military weapons to stop this immigration, but we should give more tools for Polish soldiers, like guns to fight with the crowd, like guns, for example, with rubber bullets and so on. They know how to fight with the crowds when we have manifestation in Poland, for example, during COVID. So for me, it's hard to understand why they do not use the same method on the border.
Peace and a united Europe were being put under pressure by populists, nationalists and demagogues, says President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, and pointing on German AfD and Confederacja. Are you a threat to EU?
For EU, yes. I believe that we are not a threat to anybody. Of course, we are a program and ideological enemy of people like von der Leyen or other leaders of mainstream European parties and groups. Of course, we are on two sides of the spectrum. We support independent nations, independent states, and they support European project, which is cancelling European states and building European central state as EU. And it is impossible to do these things both. So we have to decide whether we like our states and we like our democracy, or we like European centralism. For me, this is a very easy choice, and for them as well. So we are on both sides of big debate about continuing 1,000 or more than 1,000 long tradition of existing of European states as independent political entities. And I believe it's right to stay on this traditional side of this debate. And I believe that, in fact, these mainstream political leaders and mainstream political parties are much bigger enemy of current European cooperation than we, because we are not against European cooperation, we are not against free trade, we are not against, for example, Schengen rules, we are not against cooperation on defense or strategic issues, voluntary cooperation. So in my opinion, we do not threaten anybody and any form of cooperation. What is true danger is this radical left-wing agenda that they propose, especially climate agenda, because the costs of this climate agenda are so big that people who were supporting EU now become against. And for 20 years, our criticism of the European Union was a minor stream of Polish debate. For example, 5% of Polish citizens agree with us, and the rest were in favor of European Union. And now situation is changing, not because we are very strong, but because policy of Brussels became so dangerous for Polish prosperity, for Polish economy, that people who were pro-EU are changing their mind. So this is the clear proof that this is the opposite what von der Leyen said. They are the danger for European cooperation. If they would like to stay as it worked, they should cancel this climate policy and stay on current level of European cooperation, maybe not current, but 10 years in the past. For example, on the basic of, I would say, 2008, yes? Or 2007, just before the Lisbon Treaty, or just after the Lisbon Treaty. And it was accepted by European societies. And now it became more and more unacceptable. And why? Not because of populist movements, but because of economic results. There is another factor, the decrease of safety in Europe. Europe is becoming more and more unsafety for normal people, for normal citizens. Why? Because of wrong migration policy and wrong internal security policy. It's too weak and it has no strategy. Popularity of movements like us is only a result of wrong policy. Unfortunately, I believe that we would be not popular if not their wrong policy. But because their policy is totally wrong, and we have the opportunity to criticize this and to say some truths, people are saying that this is these guys who say the truth. So they did it. At the end, I would like to wish everything the best for Swedish nation and for Swedish state. I believe that we are neighbors and we can cooperate. I wish that Swedish nation will stop bad influence in your politics, in their politics, and establish some good government that will secure the future of Swedish nation.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much.